Hi everyone, welcome to the course. I'm RK Singh and I will be your instructor for this course. Alright, so let's get started. Well, let's talk about section introduction now. In this section we will see how to download Selenium, how to create a Selenium Java project, and further in the section we will talk about live project details. Yes, we will be doing a live project, and later on in the section we will cover how to launch application in browser using Selenium. Alright, so I'm very much excited about the course, so let's get started. Hi everyone, in this session we will see how to download Selenium and how to create a Selenium Java project from scratch. In the downloading part, we will download Selenium Standalone server, we will download Selenium client and WebDriver language bindings, and we will download Google Chrome driver. These three things we will download and we will be good to go, and we will create a Selenium Java project. So let's get started. So in order to download Selenium components, you have to go to this site seleniumhq.org. This is the official site of Selenium. You have to click on this download tab. Here you can see the items which I have mentioned. Selenium standalone server, it's right there. You have to just click on this link and you can save the jar file at any location on your computer. Next item is Selenium client WebDriver language bindings. Let's see where it is on this page. If you scroll down, here you go, Selenium client and WebDriver language bindings. Since I'm gonna use Java, so we have to download this Java language client binding. You have to just click on this download button and it will download the zip file. Next, see, we have to download Google Chrome driver. Let's see where exactly Google Chrome driver is. If you scroll down, here you could see third-party drivers, and here you go. This is the Google Chrome driver. You have to just click on this link and let me click for you. So it will navigate to the sites.google.com, and here you can find stable release for Chrome driver. So just click on this stable release Chrome driver, and it will again navigate to the next page, and here you could see different distributions depending on the operating system. So for Linux, just click on this. If you're using Mac, click on this link, and if you're using Windows, you have to click on this and it will download the zip file. So three things, and we got to know from where we can download things. So I have already downloaded all those things. So once you download these three things, you will get Chrome driver. In fact, you will get Chrome driver zip file. You have to extract it. You will get this Chrome driver. It's a kind of exe application. Selenium server standalone, it's a jar file, and the Selenium Java client bindings. So this you will also get a zip file. If you unzip it, you will see bunch of jar files in the libs folder. So these are jar files. Alright, so we have downloaded the necessary components for setting up the Selenium project, and now let's go and create a Selenium Java project straight away. So I have Eclipse editor, so I'll be using Java Eclipse editor, and let's create a new project. So just click on file, new, and here you will see bunch of options. You have to select Java project. You can give your project name as anything. For the timing, I'll give project demo, and rest of the options let's remain same. One thing I would like to mention right now is I'm assuming you have a Java installed on your machine, because before creating Selenium project you should have Java installed on your machine, and you can check whether Java is installed on your machine or not. Just go to command prompt, and herein you type Java -version, click on enter, and if you see this like Java version some version, which means Java is installed on your machine. If not, you have to install Java on your machine. So currently my Java version is 1.8. Alright, so assuming you have Java installed on your machine and Eclipse editor, and we have created this sample project Selenium demo. And now the question comes, what to do to the files which we have downloaded for Selenium and to this Eclipse project? The answer is simple. We have to associate them, right? Now, how to associate those files to this project Selenium demo? You just need to click on this Selenium demo, and here you will see build path. Just go to this build path, and down here you will see configure build path. Click on configure build path, and here you will see the tab libraries, right? Now we have some jar files which we have downloaded. In the Eclipse you can add those jar files by clicking on this add external jars. So just click on this add external jars, and I'll go to the location, C drive, my project softwares. So here in this folder project softwares I have downloaded everything. So let me quickly, once you click it got added. Again click on external jars. This is already added. Now we'll go to this folder. Let's add these two files. These are executable jar files. Just add. Now we have 3. Again click on add external jars. Go inside libs folder, Control A, select all. Boom, all files are selected. Let's see what is left. So we have added this, we have added this. I think, yeah, that's it. And this is the Chrome driver is the exe file which we will copy. Alright, so we have added all the jar files which we have downloaded. You have to just click on apply and OK. Once you do that, in the reference libraries section, if you expand this, you will see all these jar files are added into your project. And if you see the location, these are all coming from C drive project softwares. I mean the location where you have downloaded Selenium files. Alright, now the question comes, we have downloaded 3 things. Server bindings, which we have added in the form of jar files, and the last item was Google Chrome driver. So what we can do is, alright, so for Chrome driver you just need to create a simple folder. So we'll create a folder, let's say drivers. Let's click on finish. So this is the empty folder. So what we will do, we have this we have downloaded a Chrome driver, and from this location I'll just copy, Control C, and in this driver folder I will do Control V. Here you go, Chrome driver is associated in our project, right? So yeah, we are good to go. We have all the necessary jar files for Selenium, and we have Chrome driver also, which means we have created a simple Selenium Java project with all the necessary Selenium files. Alright, so that's what I wanted to discuss in this session today. Thank you so much. Hi everyone, in this session we will talk about the live project which we will be working on, and we will also see how we can launch the application in browser using Selenium. Alright, so in this live project we'll be testing the application Orange HRM, and this is the link of the application, and we will be writing automation regression suite and everything which is required to test this application. Next thing, in today's session we will see how we can launch this application in browser using Selenium. Alright, so let's get started. I'm using Eclipse editor, and here I have necessary things which are required for Selenium project. Next thing, I'll create a new package. How can we create a new package in Java? You just need to click on new, and here you will see the option package. Here I would write com dot, it could be any company name, so for the time being I will write com.company.test. Alright, so now we have this package, and in this package now we will create our first test. Yes, my first test, and I will take public static void main for now. Let's delete this. Alright, so we have one Java class, public class, my first test, and inside that we have main method. Now the question comes, how we can launch the application using this automation code, right? How we can launch the application? So since we are using Selenium Webdriver, so I'll write Webdriver driver is equal to new Chrome driver. Okay, so I have written this line, Webdriver driver is equal to new Chrome driver. So now there are two questions which will come to your mind. Number one, what are these red lines? What are these red lines, and what exactly Webdriver is and Chrome driver is, right? And what is this new? I'll explain just now. Okay, so these red lines indicates compilation errors, which means in our Java, because this file is .java extension, right? So in this Java files we have some compilation errors which we can resolve quickly. And the next thing, what is this WebDriver and Chrome driver? So WebDriver is an interface, right? WebDriver is an interface, and Chrome driver is a class which has implemented this WebDriver for Chrome browser. And driver is the just instance variable, and new, using new operator we create the object of Chrome driver. Okay, next, how to resolve these compilation errors. So if you mouse over this, and this Eclipse suggests you, there are 14 quick fixes available. Import WebDriver from org.openqa.selenium. So you have to import WebDriver. Just click on this first link. Boom, error gone. Next thing, again mouse over this. Again 7 quick fixes available. Choose the first one. Import Chrome driver from this org.openqa.selenium.chrome. Here you go. The error gone. Okay. Next is if I say driver dot, I will see bunch of options here, and these are all coming from Selenium jar files which we have added as an external jar files in our project, right? And here you could see driver.close equals find element, right? Get current URL, get page source, get title, get window handle, manage. So many options, right? In this session we are going to launch the application. In order to launch the application we will use driver.get method. So I will use this get method, and get method, it requires one string argument. Here we can provide the URL of the application, right? And the application URL is this, which means I'm going to launch this application, right? Pretty simple, 2 lines of code. Let's run this code and see whether we are able to launch this application into the Chrome browser or not. Here you go. Oops, we got some exceptions. As you could see, we have run this code and we are getting one exception, java.lang illegal state exception. illegal state exception we are getting, and the description of the exception is the path to the driver executable must be set by webdriver.chrome.driver system property. It's kind of message. It's saying to us, you are using Chrome driver, so you have to set the driver exe path right in the system property. For those who don't know what is system property, so system property we can set in Java using system.setProperty method. So, and we have to set this property webdriver.chromedriver, right? So first line should be system.setProperty, and in the set property method we can pass key value. Key could be property and value is the value of the property, right? Here in this case, key is in the key we can provide this, which this message saying you have to set this webdriver.chromedriver, and its value should be the executable path where the exe is stored, right? And as we can see in our project structure, this Chrome driver exe we have stored at this location, which means to this system property we have to provide the location of this Chrome driver. Now this is the Eclipse editor. How we can find its location? It's pretty simple. Just right click on this, go to this properties, and in the properties you will see location of this Chrome driver exe. Just copy this entire line, Control C, and just paste it right here. Okay, and again we are getting some compilation errors, right? So in Eclipse editor it always supports double backslash, so just replace single backslash with double one. Boom, error gone. Alright, so we have set the system property now. Now in order to launch the application we have 3 lines of code. First one, set the system property. Second one, create the driver instance. Third one, use the driver.get method to launch the application. Let's run the code now. I just click on this run button right here. It will execute, and this time it should launch the application. As you could see in the console, starting Chrome driver, which means it's working, and this time we are not getting any exception. It should launch, I'm pretty sure. So as you could see, this Chrome browser is launched, and here you could see Chrome is being controlled by automated test software, and we can see the open source demo Orange HRM live application. So this is the Orange HRM open source HR management application which we will be testing, and so far we have just launched this application into the Chrome browser. Alright, so in this session we wanted to cover the brief details about what we are going to cover in the live project and the application, and next we saw how to launch the application in Chrome browser using Selenium, and this is the simple small piece of code which we can use to launch the application. Alright, so that's what I wanted to discuss in this session. Thank you so much. Alright, this is awesome. Well done. You have completed this section of the course. Well done. Let's talk about the section summary, what we cover. So in the section you saw how to download Selenium. You also seen how to create a Selenium Java project. Then we talked about the live project details, and at the last we got to know how to launch the application in browser using Selenium. So, well done, good job, keep moving, keep learning, keep growing. Hey, hi everyone. In this session, we will see how to maximize the browser window, and we will also discuss how to retrieve title of the web page using Selenium. So let's get started. So I have Eclipse ID, and in this Eclipse ID I have created one class, public class my first test. Inside this class I have a main method, and I have written some piece of code already which will initialize the Chrome driver, and it will launch the application Orange HRM Lite. Okay, now coming back to the agenda of today, we have to maximize the browser because driver.get will launch the browser in the default setting, and if you want to maximize it, you can write this simple line of code: driver.manage, and yeah. So when you let me show you again. If you press driver dot, right, so you will see bunch of methods available. So this Selenium API provides these bunch of methods. So you have to go to manage, and if you press dot, again you will see list of methods here, and you can select window this time. This is the window. I'll select this window. If you press dot, again you will see a bunch of options. So here, as you can see, this full screen. If you select this full screen, it will open up your browser in the full screen. And if you don't want full screen, you just want to maximize the browser, you can use this maximize method. So I'll select this maximize method. That's it, we are done. So this simple one line of code, driver.manage.window.maximize, it will maximize the browser. Now let's talk about how we can get the title of the page. It's pretty simple. You just need to use driver dot. If you do dot, you will see different options, and if you scroll up, so there is one method, driver dot get title. So we can use driver dot get title to get the title of the page, and if you want, let's say if you want current URL, so you can use driver dot get current URL. If you want the source code, you can call this method get page source, right? So I will use driver dot get title. It will return me the title of the page, so I will simply just print it out in console system.out.println. So in the console window of this Eclipse ID, I will print the title of the web page. Okay, and this is out. I will write, let's say, some custom message. The title of the page is, this should be the string, and I will concatenate with this, and one more bracket. Looks pretty fine. I think, yeah, using this driver.manage.window.maximize, we can maximize the browser, and using driver.getTitle, we can get the title or retrieve the title of the web page. Alright, so I will quickly run this code. So since this piece of code is inside the main method, so I'll be running using run as Java application. So this will launch the Chrome browser, it will navigate to the application, then it will maximize the browser, and in the console we should see the title of the web page. So as you can see, it has launched the web browser, and application is launched, and it is in the maximize state. And if I see the console, I could see the message as the title of the page is Orange HRM. Alright, so what does it mean by the title of the page? So if you go back to the browser and if you see in the left top of the page of the browser, Orange HRM, so this is the title of the page, and this title in the left top we are fetching using the Selenium Webdriver called like driver.getTitle method. So using this we are getting the title of the page. Alright, so that's what I wanted to discuss in this session today. Thank you so much. Hey, hi everyone, welcome to the session. In this session we will discuss what is headless testing, and we will also see how to use headless mode in Chrome driver. So let's get started. So whenever we see headless testing, it means we are running our automation test but browser we cannot see, right? Usually we run, when we talk about Selenium, we run our test in Firefox browser, Chrome browser, or Internet Explorer. So this is called browser automation. We see the browsers. So but when we talk about headless, in this case our same test will be running, but they will be running in headless mode. Like you will not be able to see the browsers into your system. Alright, so how to achieve that? So let's get to that point. I have written a simple test inside main method. Here in what exactly I'm doing is I'm just creating the Chrome driver, right? And using driver.get I'm trying to launch one of the application, orangehrmlive.com, and after that I'm just maximizing the browser using driver.manage.window.maximize, and at the last I'm printing the title of the page, get title. So I will show you first execution of current code, and obviously this will be Chrome browser will be launched. You will be able to see the Chrome browser, and next I will show you how we can do some changes in this current code, and we will achieve headless mode execution, which will be faster than the previous one. Okay, so I'll right click on this and I will run as Java application because this piece of code is written inside main method. So we could say this is headful mode, like you will see the Chrome browser, you will see the Chrome browser is launched, you will see the application. So as you can see, the application is launched, Orange HRM, and if you go to console, here you can see the title of the page, which means this execution is done now, which means this browser is open, right? But if we want to achieve headless mode execution, then what changes you need to perform is I'm going to tell you right now. So before initializing the Chrome driver, you just need to use Chrome options. There's one class, Chrome options. So I have just closed the open browser. Alright, so there is one class Chrome options. You just need to create the object of Chrome options. So Chrome options is equal to new Chrome options, right? So this is simple way of creating objects in Java using new operator, new keyword. Okay, Chrome options we have. Since we are using Chrome driver, so we will be doing headless mode execution in Chrome. So using this object, Chrome options, and if you type dot, you will see bunch of options, right? And if you type set head, there will be one method set headless, and it accepts boolean parameter. And if I pass here as Chrome options dot set headless is equal to true, and this option I'm passing while initializing the Chrome driver. With this change, the test will run as it is, but you won't be able to see the browser. I will delete this console. This console message clear. Now everything is empty in the console, and now I will execute this piece of code, and it will run in headless mode because we have set headless is equal to true. In the background everything will remain same. In the console you will see the message, but you won't be able to see the browser. I hope you understand. I'm just running. As you can see in the console message, like starting Chrome driver, like it has a started Chrome driver in the headless mode, and as usual it will be launching the application, it will be maximizing it, and it will try to get the title of the application. So in the console we should see title in some time. So as you notice, the title of the page is orange HRM, which means same output, same execution. This time you are not able to see the browser, and this is called headless testing. In headless mode, you will not be able to see the browser, and automation suite will run successfully, and it is faster than running your automation suite with browser invisible mode or headful mode. Alright, so that's what I wanted to discuss in this session today. Thank you so much. Hi everyone. In this session we will see how to close a browser in Selenium. Alright, so if we know that by using driver.get we can launch the browser, and now we will see in this session how to close a browser in Selenium. Okay, it's pretty simple, so let's understand how to close a browser in Selenium. So this is a simple test. I have created one class, and inside the main method I'm just setting up system property, and I'm initializing Webdriver is equal to new Chrome driver, and using driver.get I'm opening this URL, right? By using these 3 lines of code we will have browser open. Now the question comes, how to close browser, right? Suppose browser is open, we have done some operations, now at the end of the test we want to close the browser, right? How we can do that? So it's pretty simple. We have to use this driver instance, and you could see the first method itself is the close method, right? So you have to do driver dot, and you can call this close method, and by doing this the open browser will get closed, right? So it's pretty simple. Using driver dot close we can close the open browser. So I will quickly run this program, and what exactly it will do, it will launch the browser and it will close the browser. That's it. It's very pretty simple test, right? So I will right click, run as Java application, because I am using main method. As you could see, browser is launched now, and you could see like Chrome is being controlled by automated test software. And it should close in some time. So it got closed. Alright, so it's pretty simple program, and you have used driver.get to launch the browser, and you have used driver.close to close the browser. Alright, thank you so much. Alright, So in this session we will discuss how to identify web elements in Selenium and what are different kinds of locators which are available in Selenium. Okay, so before we dive into these topics, I would like to explain why we need locators in Selenium. What is the purpose of locators? So let me give you one example. Let's say you are working in any company, right? And if I would like to find you that where you are working, so your company should have some name, right? So a person X is working in company ABC, right? So which means ABC is the locator for a person X, and by using ABC company name I can find, okay, element X is working in that company. So these are real world examples. So we can locate people, we can locate humans by using their address, right? So if I want to send a courier to anybody, right? So that person should have some address, so that courier courier man, so that he can identify that person, okay, at this address he has to send the courier, which means every person has a address. So what point I'm trying to make is, as in real world we identify people by their address, we call their locators. We say, okay, this person is at this location, right? Same way in test automation, if we want to do automation on any application, we have to perform some operations, like we have to click on button, we have to write something into the text box, we have to select elements from the drop down, right? But how we can do that? So which means we should have a locator for every web element, for every web components of the application. If we know the locator, then we can perform the operation. For example, if we want to click on a button, first of all we should know which button we want to click, right? And that can be found by the locator of the button, right? And then we can perform operation, we can click on it, we can get the text which is present on the button. Alright, so far what I was trying to convey the importance of locators in test automation or Selenium, right? Now next question is these two topics: how to identify web elements and what different kind of locators are available in Selenium. Alright, so let's get started. So this is a simple project, simple Selenium project setup. In this I have created one class and I have initialized the driver. Now let's say, before coming to the locators part, so let's see what this application is. So using driver.get I'm trying to launch this application, Orange HRM Live. So this is the application, Orange HRM Live. So as you can see on this page, right, we have this username and password. So these are text boxes, right? I can type anything here. But if I want to perform the same thing using automation, so there are two text boxes, right? I want to write in the first text box. How should I tell Selenium that, okay, you have to write in this text box? Again, next time in my test I would like to write password on this text box. So we should tell Selenium, okay, go to this text box and type the password. So in order to convey to Selenium, we have to provide the locators of these text boxes. And after that, let's say in our test we want to click on this login button. Again, we have to provide the locator of this login button to Selenium so that it can find in this whole web page this login button and click on it, right? So let's see what kind of different locators are available in Selenium. So once we do WebDriver, driver is equal to new Chrome driver, and if we write driver dot find element, using find element method we can find the element, and there's a by class. If I do by dot, you will see bunch of options, right? So let's go one by one. So these are the different locators which are present in Selenium, which means we can identify web elements using class name, or by CSS selector, by ID. If there's a link on the if there's a link present in the application, by link text we can identify, by name, by partial link text, by tag name, by XPath. So these are different kind of locators which are available in Selenium, and in most of the interviews at the beginner level, the interviewer can ask you what are the different kinds of locators which are present in Selenium. So you could say there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There are 7 types of locators which are present in Selenium, and using these 7 locators we can find the elements of the web application. So you don't have to use all 7 at once. We can use any one of them, right? For example, using link text we can identify the links, and if ID is given of the element, we can use the ID. We can also generate the XPath. So the idea is there are different kinds of locators which are provided by Selenium Webdriver API. These class name, CSS selector, ID, link text, name, partial link text, tag name, XPath. And using these locators we can find the elements of the elements of the application, and then we can perform the operations. Okay, which means we have covered the first part, like in fact we covered the second part, different kinds of locators in Selenium, right? Now we know, okay, there are 7 types of locators in Selenium. Next is how to identify elements in Selenium. So let me give you a quick overview how we can identify. So let's say let's try to identify this text box. So in the Chrome browser I have opened this application, open source, right, Orange Selenium Live. In the Chrome browser, if you right click, you at the last you will see the option inspect, or you can use the shortcut Ctrl+Shift+I. If I click on inspect, a new window will get open. It should open in some time. Do it again, inspect. Here you go. So as you can see, this is open, and if I click on this, the leftmost element, this arrow one, if I click on this and move to this and click on this, here you could see this text box is of input type. Its name is txt username, its ID is txt username, its type is text, which means in the HTML code of this application, the ID is given here, right here, ID, which means this ID I can use to identify this text box, right? So let me copy this. So I will use by dot driver dot find element by dot ID. So by ID I can find the text box. It's kind of like in real world every employee has employee ID in the company. So by their ID we can identify any employee. Same way, these web component, these text boxes, login, right, maybe some drop down, all mostly they have IDs. So by their using ID we can identify the elements. And if I again click dot, then I can perform these many operations, right? So there are many operations available. So in the text box usually we write something, right, we type something. So Selenium WebDriver API provides send keys method. Using send keys we can type anything. So here we will type the username as admin. So in the text box, let's say I would like to type admin, right? Next is, let's say I would like to type the password here, right? So I will again click on this arrow, I will go to here, and as you can see, this is also of input type, input tag, right? Its ID is txt password, right? Txt password. So I will just copy paste this line, driver.findElement by.id. For second text box, the ID is txt password. I will copy from the DOM. From here I am copying. I will just paste here. And in the password I would type admin123. So here I will change. I will write admin123, right? So I have performed two steps. Next step is, let's say I want to click on this login button. So before clicking on login button, I have to identify this login button, right? So I will write driver.findElement. Using findElement, we can find the element in Selenium by dot. Let's say I would like to find by ID. In ID we provide a string. But what is the ID of login button? How to do that? I will again go to login button, or maybe, yeah, I can do directly login button. I will click on inspect. So as you can see, here login button is highlighted. Its type is input, input tag is input, type is submit, name is submit, and you can see ID is given btn login, right? From here I can copy btn login, ID is provided, and I will write by.id. and in the button I cannot type anything, I cannot write anything, so send keys I will not use. In the button I would like to click, so Selenium provides this click method, which is very simple, and it will click. As you could see, it's pretty simple, like using by.id we are identifying the elements, and after that using dot we are performing some operations. So this is a very basic fundamental of Selenium. You will write many scripts, many tests by using this simple logic: driver.findElement, by.id, .sendKeys, or by.click, right? So let's see whether this code is working or not. So essentially if I run this code, so automatically this username, password, and login button should get clicked, right? So I will right click on this, run as Java application, and let's see the execution. Let's see the magic of Selenium Webdriver API. So you have to write your test once, and you can run anytime. So it will run automatically. It will identify the elements by ID, and then it will type text, and then it will click on login button. So let's see. As we can see, this Chrome browser is launched using driver.get method, and it should navigate to Orange HRM Live application. So this is the basic fundamental of test automation. Like, we have to find the elements, and then we have to perform some operations. This is the core of test automation, and you can write test automation scripts using this. As you could see, admin password is typed, and it should click on login button as well, and we are into login has happened successfully, and open source HR management, right? I think our script is working fine, no problem in the scripts, and because we have not used driver.close, so our browser is still open, but we can see login has happened successfully and our script has run properly. So a quick summary. So in this session, what we saw initially, we saw what is the importance of locators in Selenium. After that, we came to know what different kinds of locators in Selenium are there. So there are 7 types of locators: ID, XPath, name, class name, CSS selector, link text, etc. And then we saw how to identify web elements. So using driver.findElement and then by dot, we can find the elements. So find element is a method, by is a class. So in the interview they may ask you what is by. So by is a class, right? Dot id is a method. Send keys is also a method, but by is a class. All right, so that's what I wanted to discuss in this session today. Thank you so much. Hi everyone. In this session we will discuss a very important concepts in Selenium. What is XPath and how to write XPath in Selenium. Alright, so first let's see what is XPath. So according to Wikipedia, so this is wikipedia.org, XPath, or we can say XML path language, is a query language for selecting nodes from an XML document. Alright, so XPath is a kind of query language for selecting nodes from XML document. In addition, XPath may be used to compute values, string numbers, boolean values from the content of an XML document. XPath was defined by Webdriver Consortium. Alright, so from this definition, it looks like, okay, XPath is a kind of query language for selecting nodes from an XML document. Now the question comes, how we can use XPath in Selenium, right? And in test automation, we know we have to identifiers, right? So XPath can be used for identification purpose, because we can select nodes, right? For further reading, you can go through this. So it's a very good article given by Wikipedia, right? And in XPath we have different kinds of access specifiers like ancestor, child, following sibling, preceding sibling. We can use text also, right? That's a very nice article. Okay, now let's move to our next topic, how to write XPath in Selenium. From this definition, XPath is a XML path query language which can be used for selecting nodes. This we got to know from Wikipedia. And now the question comes, how we can write XPath in Selenium. So let's see how we can write. So before writing XPath, let's see the application. So this is the web application. Let me close everything. Escape. Okay. So this is the web application, and suppose we want to identify this username and password text box using XPath, then we have to write the XPath, correct, in Selenium. This is the code for identification of username text box, password text box, and login button by.id, right? So now we can perform the same thing using XPath. Below 3 line was using ID, right? So I'll copy this. In fact, I will copy these 3 lines and paste here. Well, let's not copy paste. I would like to write from the scratch, so I will just comment it out. So this is block comment I have done, so you can ignore this part. So what essentially I'm going to do is I'll write a Selenium script which will enter username, password, and it will click on login button, and all the things I will do using XPath. So before writing any XPath, so let's see what is the syntax of XPath. So XPath always starts from this forward slash, double forward slash, and after that we write tag name, and inside these square brackets we write attribute is equal to attribute value, and then we can also write double slash or forward slash, then something abc, then some xyz, right? So this is the format of writing XPath. The main idea is we have to write, starting point should always be from double forward slash, then tag name, attribute is equal to value, right? And this part is optional if we want to traverse to the document. Okay, now using this concept, let's see how we can write the XPath. So this is the application. Suppose you want to identify this username using XPath. So what you need to do is you need to just right click on this. Right now I have opened this application in Chrome browser. If you have right click, you can click on this inspect element. Just click on inspect element. As you can see, this developer tool has got opened, and I can see this is the username, it is being highlighted. Or maybe you can select this leftmost arrow button. Just click on arrow button, move your mouse to this text box, and this in the HTML document, HTML DOM, I would say, document object model. In HTML DOM we will see, okay, this is the input tag, name. As you can see, this is the HTML whose tag is input, and there are various attributes like name attribute, ID attribute, type attribute. Name attribute has value txt username, ID attribute has value txt username, type attribute has value text, right? So in this HTML code, we got to know tag is input, and these are attributes, this orange color, and these blue color are their values. Now come to our definition of XPath. We write XPath using tag name, and then within the square bracket we write attribute is equal to value. Okay. Now let's try to find this username. So the script would be, in Selenium we write driver.find element, then there is a by class, by dot. This time I'm gonna write XPath, so I will use by.xpath, and within XPath I will write the XPath expression. Okay, now we know XPath always starts from double forward slash, then tag name in this case is input. I'm talking about this username. So from the HTML DOM structure we got to know, okay, tag name for this text box is input, so I will write input, and after that, as you can see, attribute is equal to value we have to write, so I will put square brackets. In the XPath I would like to use this attribute, let's say name. So name is equal to, you must notice I am putting single quotes now, so name is equal to txt username, Now how can we sure that this XPath will work? How can we sure? So what essentially I am going to do is I will check in the developer tool itself. So in the Chrome browser, if you open this developer tool, this I'm calling this developer tool like this, where I can see these HTML code. So just mouse over this, and if you click on Control F from the keyboard, Control F, as you could see, you can, in this text box, you could write your XPath. And once you write your XPath, and if it's correct, it will highlight the corresponding element in the web application. So I will just copy paste. So this XPath I have written, input name is equal to text username. If I press enter, let's see whether we are getting or not. We could see that with this XPath we are not able, because here we are getting 0 of 0. So this XPath is not working, and it should be, because @ attribute is equal to value. So here I will write @ attribute is equal to value. So @ name is equal to text username. So here we need to provide @ name. As you could see, now it is highlighted, and this is yellow color in the HTML DOM and in the application also. And here you could see 1 of 1 here. So this way we write XPath, so which means this is the working XPath. Now I can use this XPath into my code. So this is working fine, so it will identify the text box. Then after that I will use send keys, and I will write the username admin. So far so good. Next test step is, like, we have to enter password, and in order to enter password we have to identify this text box. So again I will write driver dot find element by dot XPath, then we have to write XPath expression. As we know, XPath always starts from // so I will try to inspect this password text box. I will right click on this, click on inspect. It will highlight the corresponding input tag. I'm not taking a span, I'm taking input, because span is another element. If you highlight this, so this is a span where the text password is written. But if this is input, this input tag is the entire text box which can accept some input. So that's the reason I'm taking this input tag. And I can see this is the input tag. Attribute is name txt password. ID is also there, autocomplete off, type is password, right? Again I'm going to use name attribute, and this time it is txt password. So let me write the XPath and check whether this is working or not. It's working, because we got the yellow color and it's working. So I will copy this and I will use in my script. So like password element I'm trying to identify using XPath. Driver.find element by .xpath. This is the XPath. Name is equal to txt password. Password also I can use. This is, since this is the text box, so I will use send keys. Password I will type in admin123. Alright, so far so good. The next test step for the login functionality is you have to click on the login button. So let me scroll up. So this is the login button. Let's try to inspect this. Just right click, click on inspect. Here you go. In the DOM we got to see, okay, this is the input tag whose type is submit, name is equal to submit, class is button, ID is equal to btn login, value is equal to login. So there are so many attributes are present. So let's see, let's try to use this name is equal to submit, right? So I will use at the rate name is equal to submit. Here you go, we got a yellow color, which means it is working fine. So this is the XPath I have written and I have checked also. So I will just write driver dot find element by dot XPath and double quotes. Always notice within the double quotes I'm writing the XPath, so it's a string. And since it's a login button, so we cannot type something into the button, so we can only click on the button, so I will use this click method. As you can see, this time we have written 3 test steps, which are like finding the username text box and writing admin, finding the text box password and typing admin123, and finding login button and clicking on it. And all this we are doing using by.xpath. So by XPath we are trying to find the elements, and after that we are performing some operation. So what I'm going to do next is I will run this code and see how it is working. And let me show you what is written in the top of the code before running this piece of code. So this is a simple locator test, and then we have public static void main. First 3 lines are doing it's creating Chrome driver, and it is using driver.get. Orange HRM live application will get open. So these 3 lines are just launching the browser and navigating to the application. And after that, using find element by .xpath, I'm trying to perform some operations. Pretty simple code, and I'll execute this code. Right click, run as Java application. So it should launch the application, and it should enter the username, password, and it should click on login button. So the idea is we can identify web elements using XPath also, and writing XPath is pretty simple. We just need to know the syntax, like // then the tag name, then square bracket, then @ attribute. In the beginning we missed @, so @ is very important. @ attribute is equal to value of the attribute, and this way we can find the XPath. And we can also, before using the XPath into the script in the developer tool of Chrome browser, by using Ctrl F, we can validate whether we have written the correct XPath or not. If the XPath is correct, then the yellow highlight will be there. So now, as you can see, this Chrome browser is launched. And it should open the Orange HRM live application, and automatically through the script it should enter the username, password, and click on login button. Here you go. Entering username, password, and then it has clicked on login button. Login happened successfully. Now this is the dashboard of Orange HRM application. I haven't used driver.close, so my browser is still open, right? Okay, so this is the idea. So let me quickly recap what we wanted to discuss today. So we started with what is XPath. So we saw Wikipedia page of what is XPath. So Wikipedia page says XPath or XML path language is a query language for selecting nodes from an XML document, and this concept we can use in Selenium, because in the HTML DOM structure we can identify the nodes using XPath. And we also saw how to write XPath in Selenium, which is very simple. Just / tag name, then square brackets, @ attribute is equal to value, right? This way we can write XPath. All right, so that's what I wanted to discuss in this session today. Thank you so much. Hi everyone, in this session we will see what is CSS, and after that we will discuss how to write locators using CSS selector in Selenium. So let's get started. What is CSS? So according to Wikipedia, CSS is cascading style sheets. Let's see what is cascading style sheets or CSS. Cascading style sheets CSS is a style sheet language used for describing the presentation of a document written in a markup language like HTML. CSS is a cornerstone technology of the World Wide Web alongside HTML and JavaScript. So let me make it simple. If you see any website, right, so it is like HTML. Behind the scene it is HTML or JavaScript, right? But the color, fonts, right, these are things coming from CSS. The color of the button, the color of the text box, the background page, so these things are coming from the CSS, cascading style sheets. As you could see here in the description, CSS is for describing the presentation of a document. Presentation, how the application look like. So if we talk about the Wikipedia itself, this heading is a black color, right? This link is of blue color, and here it is orange color in the right bottom. So these things are coming from CSS, and here we can see the simple example of CSS like H1 color white, background orange, border this pixel, padding, font this, HTML body, background color white, color black, font family this. So these information are called CSS, cascading style sheets. Alright. For more details you can visit this page. It's a very good article on CSS, cascading style sheets, for more detail. Okay, now let's see how we can use this CSS in Selenium, right? Which means using CSS selectors we can write our locators in Selenium. Now the question comes, how we can use this CSS information into Selenium. So let's see. So this is the web application, open source demo HRM live application, right? And if we want to write username, password and click on login button, and if our target is to identify these elements using CSS selector, then let's see how we can do that. So this is the simple test which I have created in the Eclipse IDE. These 3 lines, they will just launch the Chrome browser, and I will comment these previous code in which we were trying to identify the elements using XPath. Now we will try to identify the elements using CSS selector. So using CSS selector, how we can do that in Selenium? So you can use driver dot find element. Find element is a method. Within find element we can write by dot XPath. No, we want to write CSS selector. So the second option, this CSS selector. So Selenium provides, and within CSS selector we can write our CSS selector. Now the question comes, how we can write our CSS selector? What is the logic? So let me tell you the main concept how we can write CSS selector in Selenium. If there is any ID, we always use hash sign. For ID we use hash sign, and for class we use dot operator. Dot. We use dot. This dot. Dot I have written for reference. I can delete it also. The idea is, if there is ID present, we can write hash, and if a class is present, we can write dot. Okay, and CSS selector always starts from tag name. Okay, so we'll see a demo in some time. For now, let me quickly recap. What essentially we are trying to do is, we are trying to find username, password and click on login button using CSS selector, and we saw the definition of CSS in the Wikipedia also, and after that I have told you, okay, for ID we use hash and for class we use dot. With this information we will be able to write CSS selector for our test. So if I want to see what exactly username is, I will right click on username, I will click on inspect. By doing this, I will get in the HTML DOM this input. This is the this text box is input type, right? Its input tag name is input, and its name is txt username, ID is this, type is this. As we can see, tag name is input and ID is given txt username. So let's try to write the XPath. Sorry, let's try to write the CSS selector. So here we can write CSS selector. This, if you press Ctrl F from your keyboard, you will get this window, and herein we can write our CSS selector. As I said, CSS selector always starts from tag name. So in our example, input is the tag name, so I will write input, and we know for input we have ID is given. For ID we use hash, and ID is, let me quickly again mouse over this, the ID is txt username. So here I have written, now you can see in this box I have written my CSS input hash means ID. We can read like this, in tag is input whose ID is txt username, and in CSS selector we represent ID by hash. So we have written our CSS selector. I will copy and paste in our script, and I will write this. So this is my CSS, and after that I will write send keys, and I will write username as admin. Pretty simple. In next line we will again try to find the password field. So I will right click, inspect on it. As you could see, its ID is password, name is this, so I'm gonna use this ID txt password, and tag name is input, hash this ID. So, and yellow color comes, which means it is able to identify our CSS selector is correct. I will copy paste. Okay, I will write next test steps like driver dot find element by dot, this time CSS selector. We are using CSS selector. Please notice I am using double quotes. Inside double quotes I am writing my CSS selector. Since this is the text box, so I will write send keys, password as admin123. Fair enough. Okay. Our next test step is to click on this login button. I will just right click on login button, click on inspect. I'm just repeating these steps so that you should be comfortable with this. As we can see, this is quite interesting. This login button, tag is input, type is submit, name is also given, class is given, ID is given. I can use ID as btn login, but this time we will not use ID because we have already used ID. This time I'm going to use class, and we know for class in CSS selector we use dot operator, dot. And in this you can see there are two classes, like class is button space hover, right? So let's try to write CSS selector. So I will use, and if you write tag name, we always start with tag name. For writing CSS selector, tag name dot class name this. If we do this, we will not get anything. Input dot button hover, because there is a space. So if there are two class name given, so always join them by dot operator. By doing this, we can identify this login button uniquely. Why uniquely? Because here you could see 1 of 1. We are able to find only one element with this CSS selector. So I will just copy paste, and I will use in my script. So before using, I have to write driver dot find element by dot css selector. I hope by this time you are comfortable with these statements like driver dot find element. Within the find element method we write by dot css selector and css selector, then we write double quotes. Inside that we write our css. Now this is the button, so we will use click method. That's it. We are good. Now the same login functionality we are doing using css selector, by dot css selector. So let's quickly run and see whether our Selenium code using. Before running, let me show you what is written upside. So this is the main normal public class locator test. Inside the main method I have initialized Chrome driver. I am opening driver.get this orange hrmlive.com application, and after this in the login window I am just using CSS selector. I am entering username, password and clicking on login button. So let's see its execution. I will right click, run as Java application, and it should launch the application, and we should be able to see that okay, username, password, these admin 123, they will be typed in, and after that you will click on login button. The idea is we can write our scripts using XPath, using CSS selector, using ID, name. It's up to us in which we are comfortable with and what elements are present in the HTML DOM structure. HTML DOM structure means whenever we do F12 or right click, inspect element, developer tool gets opened in the Chrome browser or any other browser. So using those tags we can write our Selenium scripts. And the idea in test automation is you have to find the element, and after that you can perform any operation. So as you can see on the screen, we are finding the elements, driver.find element, and after finding we are clicking, or we are send keys method we are using. So this is the core concept of test automation. You have to find the element and then you have to perform some operation. As you can see on the screen, this Chrome browser is launched and it should now open the application orange hrmlive.com application, and after that it will enter the username, password and click on login button. Here you go. And as you can see, this login window is there. It should enter username, password, username admin, password, click on login button. It's not clicking on login button. I don't know why it is taking time. So as you can see, we got some exception. We got like no such element, unable to locate element, method CSS selector, and this is the selector. So this WebDriver API is very cool. Whenever it is not able to identify element, it will always throw no such element exception. And this could be interview question, like they will ask if you're not able to, if Selenium is not able to locate the element, which exception you get. So your answer should be, we always get no such element exception, which means Selenium does not understand whether this method CSS selector, whose value is this, Selenium is not able to identify. So that is the reason this login doesn't happen. So I will close this. So I will change the locator. So So here I will use only input dot button, right? So here I will use input dot button. Dot we are using because button is the class. So let me clear this console and I will rerun. So this time we have used tag name dot class name. We are using only one class name because class name was given. Let me show you again. If you right click inspect, so for login button there is a class. This class is button. Class is button. Okay. Let me show you again. So input type submit, name is going to submit, class is button, ID is btn login. This class is button. So class means dot. So I will use input dot button. Now let me quickly run this application again. Run this Selenium code again. So the idea is whenever we use CSS selector, if ID is there, always use hash sign. If class is there, always use dot sign. This is the main core concept. So it should launch the Chrome browser. It's taking some time. Sorry about that. Now as we can see, this Chrome browser is launched. It will open the orange hrmlive.com application. And it should enter username, password, and it should click on login button. So this is the test flow. Here you go. This is the login panel. Let me username, password, and it clicked on login button. And we are in the dashboard. So it worked, right? I have not used driver.close. That's why this browser is still open. But our test runs successfully, and there's no error, right? And we are inside this admin user, and this is the dashboard. All right, so let me quickly summarize what we discussed today. We discussed what is CSS. We have gone to Wikipedia, then we see CSS is just a presentation of the document, and then after that we see how we can write then we saw how we could write the locators using CSS selector in Selenium. And this is the way we write CSS selector, like in Selenium, like by.css selector, then tag name hash if it's ID, and by.css selector tag name dot if it's a class. All right, so that's pretty simple. So that's what I wanted to discuss in this session today. Thank you for your time. Thank you so much for watching. Bye. Hey, hi everyone. All right, so in this session we will discuss what is abstraction in Java, and after that we will discuss how can we apply abstraction in Selenium project, right? Abstraction is one of the concepts of OOPS concepts in Java. Like OOPS means object oriented programming language. So this is much talked about topic of Selenium interviews. Like they may ask you like what is abstraction in Java and how have you applied abstraction in Selenium project. So let's try to understand this concept. So what is abstraction? As you could see, abstraction is a process of hiding the implementation details from the user. It's pretty simple definition. Abstraction is a process of hiding the implementation details from the user, right? So can you think of any example of this? Okay, let me give you one example where abstraction is applied. For example, you are sending an email from Gmail, right? gmail.com. So in order to send an email, you just write the content of the email, subject and recipient address, and you just click on send button, and you don't bother about the implementation details about the Gmail server, what kind of protocol it is using, how it is connecting to the other server, how your email is getting received into the receiver inbox. So we don't bother about the implementation details of Gmail functionality, which means the implementation details are hidden from us. That means they have applied abstraction. Alright, so another example could be for example, if you're driving a car, right? So in order to drive a car, you just need to know accelerator, brake, right? And just you can gear change, and you clutch and accelerator, you through the steering you drive your car. You're not bothered about how its petrol engine, how gear system works, right? So these are abstraction examples in real world. Same way we can think in the Selenium project also. So far we know, yes, what is abstraction? Abstraction is a process of hiding the implementation details from the user. So let's try to implement this in our Selenium project. So this is the simple test which is written over here, and in our live project we are trying to automate this application, Orange HRM, and this test script, I'm talking about this. So this test script is simply initializing the Chrome driver and doing the login part of this application. It is entering username, password button, it is just clicking. So this class contains two things. One part, how we launch the application using driver.get, and the second part, how to log in. Let's try to, and let me, okay, so let's try to, in fact I should create a new class in order to, because I want to preserve this class. So I will create a new class. You can create a new class using new class. So what I'll do, I will write, let's say, abstraction demo class I have created, right? So this will be our fresh class. I don't want to make you guys confused between the previous classes. So this is simple class we have created which contains main method. Let me copy this part of initializing the Chrome driver and launching the application. So these three lines. Same way for login part, we have these locators. In fact, I can use this, or maybe I can use anything. So this part, let's say the XPath example I'm using. Alright, we are getting some errors. I think we have to do some imports. or maybe here semicolon import by class. Alright, so no error. Let me quickly save it. Alright, so we were discussing abstraction, and now I have a code which will launch the application, and these 3 lines will enter the username, password, and click on login button. So if you think like abstraction means we have to hide the implementation details. What if I have to hide these 3 steps? I don't want to show to the user or in our test like these 3 steps are involved for the login. So what I will do, I will create a login method public. This is how we create a method in Java. So public void login and curly braces. What if I cut this and provide the implementation inside login, and also this part into this method, right? Which means inside login method I have my implementation details of opening the application and doing the login operation. So this is a simple example of abstraction in Selenium project. Like we create different methods, and method contains the implementation details, but in our actual test we just call the methods. So now we know, okay, this login, opening the application and login part is done by this login method. So if somebody has to call the login, somebody has to do these steps, so he will simply call the login method. So let me show you how we can call the login method. So we have to create the object of the class. So I will create the object. So in Java, how will you call any method? So first of all, you have to create the object of the class. So create the object, create the object of the class. How do you create the object of the class? Using new operator. Using new operator. So if this is the class, you can create the object like abstraction demo. Then you can give name of the object, let's say abstraction demo. And after that we will use new operator. Using new operator we can create the object of Java class. Is equal to this new operator and the class name, then this bracket. That's it. Which means we have created the object of the class abstraction demo, and using this object I can call the login method. So if you type this object, in fact let me copy this, the object name, and if you click on dot, it will list you different methods which we can call on this object. As you can see, there are different methods. Here is a login method. Other methods are coming from the object class, because object class is the super class of all the objects in Java programming. Okay, so which means now look at this. This is a kind of abstraction. If somebody wants to use login functionality, so he should just call this login method. He should not be bothered about how login will happen, right? He should not bothered about the implementation details of the login method. So he just need to call this login method, right? And if I run my test, so this could be a simple test of login in which I'm just calling the login method. So as a end user, I'm not worried about the how login method is written, what are the implementation details. What I'm worried about is I need the login functionality, and by using the abstraction I'm providing the login method, and I'm just wrapping the test steps or implementation details into the login method. So it is a very basic example of abstraction which we use in our Selenium project, and if I run this, it will do the same thing. It will launch the Chrome browser and it will do the login function. So let me run this for you. So it will open the Chrome browser and it will do the login operation. The main concept which I was trying to show you guys, that we should create methods in our test and we should try to reuse those methods, because every time I don't want to write 6 steps of login. So what essentially I have done, I have taken those 6 steps of initializing the browsers and entering the username, password and clicking the login button into one method, which is login method. And now I can reuse this thing. Whenever I want to do login operation, I will simply go and call this login method. How simple life will become. And that we are achieving through the concept of abstraction. I'm just hiding the implementation details from the end user. As you can see, this the Chrome browser is launched now, and it should do the login part. As you can see, it will enter the username, password and click on login. Here you go, and this is the dashboard, which means login is done successfully. Alright, so this is a simple code demo. The only takeaway from this session should be the concept of abstraction and how we are implementing abstraction into Selenium project, which means we are creating methods and we are hiding the test steps into methods. Alright, so that's what I wanted to discuss in this session today. Thank you so much. Hi everyone. In this session we will discuss the live project scenarios which we will be working on, and after that we will discuss the scope of WebDriver instance. So let's get started. Let's talk about live project scenarios first. So as you must be knowing, this application we are trying to work on as part of our live project, and what essentially in this session the scenarios in which we'll be trying out is after after login part. So if I log into the application, so this is the look and feel of the application, Orient HRM, open source HR management application. So in this session we will cover how we can do logout, operation. So let me resize the screen so that you can see. As you can see here, welcome admin. So there is this button. Let me expand so that it is visible to you. Anyways, so if you see on the right top here, admin is there. If you click on admin, you will see the logout option. So we will try to log in and log out from the application, because if we automate any application of any industry, this login logout is the common operation which every application has. So that's the reason we are first targeting login and logout operation into our live project. Okay, so our test will do we'll log in to the application, and after that we will click on here, and we will try to log out. How we can write our test for logout operation. So let's get started. I'll show you the code demo now, how we can write the logout functionality in our automation project. As you must be knowing, this is from our previous session, like where we discussed the abstraction, and here we have login method already there, and now we are going to create logout method. So public void logout, because logout may involve 2 steps or 3 steps. I don't want to write those 3 steps anywhere. So what essentially I'm going to do is I will write those test steps into this method, and this is the convention which you will be following throughout your automation projects, that you have to create small methods, and inside the method you write your test steps. So public void logout, and in order to do logout, first of all your login screen should be like login functionality must have happened, because you cannot see this welcome admin unless you have not done login. So it's pretty obvious, like in order to call logout you must call login method first, and after that you can log out. Okay, in order to do logout, so if we manually try to log out, so we will go to this welcome admin and we will click on this, and then we will click on logout. So same thing I will be doing through automation. How we can do that, right? So if you click on this, if you right click on this, and you will see the option inspect. Just click on inspect. So we will come to know what kind of element is there, right? Let me maximize so that you can view. Okay, so as you can see, let me scroll up. This is the highlighted one. So in the developer tool, here we can see the HTML code for this welcome admin, and just notice I'm talking about here. So this is an A tag, anchor tag, whose ID is welcome, class is panel trigger, activated welcome, text is welcome admin, right? So we got to know, okay, this is the HTML code for this element. A means it's a link. A tag means anchor tag link. So let's try to write the locator for it. I will write Control F. I will press Control F. So by doing Control F, you will get this window wherein you can write your XPath, right? So XPath I'm not going to write. In fact, I will try to use link text, because welcome admin is the link text which is available. So I will copy this welcome admin. So in my logout method, I will write driver dot find element, and here I can call by dot link text. Link text is also one of the locator for Selenium Webdriver, and here I will pass the link text, and I will click on link text, and then I can call click method, right? So by doing this, it will click on welcome admin link, and after clicking on welcome admin, this menu will get open, and after that we have to click on this logout. Okay, Okay, so next step would be to click on this logout. So in order to identify what exactly logout is, just click on logout and then click on right click, click on inspect. And as you could see, this logout is also an anchor tag, and this is the text logout. But this time I'm not going to use driver.findElement by.link text. I will show you another way of clicking a link. So this time we will be writing XPath for this. So XPath always start from for // then tag name, right? And here we can use text property, and here text is logout. So this is a simple XPath which I have written, and you could see yellow color has come and it is highlighting the logout, right? So this is another way of writing XPath, like tag name, then attribute. Here it is attribute, it is not the attribute, it is the text method, text property. So this is another way of writing XPath. So text, then bracket is equal to the text which is present on the tag. So A was the tag, anchor tag or the link tag, and the text is logout. So I will copy this XPath, and in our code I will use driver.findElement. Earlier, last time we have used by.link text. This time we will use by.xpath. And in the XPath we will write this XPath, and I will click on click. So with these two lines, it will click on welcome admin, and then it will click on logout. By doing this, logout will happen. So let me show you. I will click on logout. So again, logout will happen and you will get the login window like this. Okay, so let me close this, and by this time you must have noticed, right, why this driver is throwing error, compilation error. In the login method there was no error, we can use driver as it is, but when it comes to logout we are getting this compilation error, right? So that's our topic number 2 for today, scope of WebDriver instance, right? This error we are getting because of scope of WebDriver instance. Let me explain further. As you can see, the scope of this WebDriver is inside this login method, and that's the reason I cannot use outside login method. In logout I cannot use driver because driver is initialized. WebDriver driver is equal to new Chrome driver inside login method. Okay, so that's the reason scope is limited to this login method. That's the reason I'm not able to use outside of login method. How can we solve this problem? How can we solve this compilation error? Think about it. What if I change the scope of this WebDriver? If I provide the scope of WebDriver instance at the class level, this is the class, abstraction demo class, right? Inside this class we have main method, and we are writing our user defined methods like login, logout. If we change the scope of driver to the class level, then if something is defined at this level, at class level, then it will be available to every method, right? So let's change. So what we will do, I will copy, in fact I will declare WebDriver at the class level here. As you must have noticed, this is now becoming in blue color. So now WebDriver is declared at the class level, and there is no need to declare here again. So I will just replace, right? Now as you can see, all driver is now in the blue color, right? And in the logout also it is in blue color. So no compilation error at this time. So how we solve this problem? By correcting the scope of WebDriver. So just try to remember, every time try to define the WebDriver instance at the class level. So whenever you work on any live project, so these are the common errors which we come across. So if you keep in mind that okay, we have to initialize, we have to declare WebDriver at the class level, then you will get rid of these kind of problems, right? So this is logout and this is login. In the main method right now we are writing our test, right? So I have called login, and if I want to do logout, so I will call this object of abstract demo class, and then I will call logout. As you can see now, logout method is also has appeared. So if you click on logout, this will happen. So these are our tests. Like I'm in first step I'm just doing login, and another step I'm doing logout. So this is very basic simple test of login logout, and I'm calling these inside the main method. So if I run this, let me run this. So it will launch the application, it will do login logout. And as you must see, inside the main method, again we have implemented the concept of abstraction. I don't know what is inside the login method, I don't know what is inside the logout. I'm just using login logout method. How pretty cool it is. We don't need to bother about the implementation details of login logout. And whenever we need, we will just call this login logout method, and this is one time effort. One time I have written the logic inside the login method and also the logic for doing the logout, and anytime I can call these methods and this login logout will happen. So this is my suggestion to you. Whenever you are doing some hands-on on any application, try to automate login and logout, because these are the very important functionalities of any application. As you can see the execution on the screen now, our test has started. It is doing it. Initially it will do login, and after that it will do logout. It's running, still running. I find it very interesting, like once you write something and it is executing. As you can see, login, and after login we are in the dashboard. Now it should go to welcome admin. It clicked on logout. Again we got the login window. How cool it is, right? Alright, so that's what I wanted to discuss in this session today. Like these two topics we discussed, like the live project scenario and the scope of WebDriver instance. So we covered one more scenario of doing logout, and then we came across this driver compilation error, and we get rid of that problem by declaring the driver at the class level. Alright, okay, thank you so much for watching. You are doing good job. Keep learning, keep growing. Thank you. Hi everyone. In this session we will discuss live project Orange HRM, another scenario, right? As you know, we are working on this Orange HRM application, and in this session we will cover a scenario which I'll show you in some time. So let's get started. So what essentially we will do through our automation script is we have already written this login method, right? And also we have already written logout method. So which means login logout we can do very well. And let's try to see. We will call the login method and it will do the login part. Let me manually just log in into the application so that I'll show you the scenario which we will be covering now. So right after login, this is the dashboard. Default tab is dashboard. So next what we will do, we will go to this admin tab, right? I will click on this admin tab, And after clicking on this admin module, so we see this application. So this is the UI of the application. In the admin module, we see system users, and there is a search button and a reset button. Here we can search by username, by user role, right? And here we can add or delete users. So this is the functionality, and down below this is a table of username, user role, employee name, the status. Okay, so through our script, what we will do, we will log in, and then we will click on this admin tab, and after clicking on admin tab we will get this. After that we will handle this drop down. So as you can see in the user role drop down, there are values all admin ESS. Let's say you through your Selenium script you want to select ESS, right? So you will do this, you will click on, sorry, you will select ESS, and after selecting ESS you will click on search button, and after doing search you will see these options like user role will become ESS. Okay, so this is the simple scenario which we will write automation code for this scenario. Let me repeat. Login, we will do login, then we will click on this admin tab, and after clicking on this admin tab we will select the value from the drop down. As by default all will be there, so we will select ESS, and after that we will click on search button. So this we will automate. Alright, so this is the live project scenario description, and in some time we will be write the automation code for it. Okay, see you in the next session. Alright, so this is the application. Now what next we will do, we will write a method. So I will continue in the same class, which is this abstraction demo, and initially we have written this login logout method. I will write another method like public void. So next step is we want to click on this admin. So by default after login we will be at this page, dashboard. Now I want to write a method which will take us to the admin module. So I will click on this admin module. So I will write a method public void go to. Okay, so I will give the method name as go to admin tab, and here I will write the logic for going to admin tab. So let's see what locator we can use. So initially we will be at the dashboard. So if I go here and if I right click on this, and after right clicking if I click on inspect, so I should see developer tool window in the bottom of the page. It should open, yeah, it is opening. So as you can see, this is admin, it's a link and whose ID is given. So let me show you. This is and you can notice it is getting highlighted. So ID is given, which is good. It's very good whenever ID is given. So it is the A tag anchor tag, and ID is menu admin menu_admin view admin module. So I will just copy this ID. It's pretty simple. So by ID I will try to locate this admin tab. So I will use driver dot find element by dot ID, and in the ID I'll mention the ID which I have copied, and after getting the object I will call click method, because on tab I can click. So by doing this, so I think this is a very small method which contains only one statement like driver.findElement by .id, and click on find element, and then I'm calling click method. So it's pretty very small method. Go to admin tab. Let's see what next we are going to do. So let's say we clicked on admin, and after that our scenario was we have to select, let me minimize. After that we have to select this drop down value, right? We have to select ESS from the drop down. So how we can handle drop down in Selenium? So let's write the code to handle drop downs. So first of all, you need to remember we have to use select class. In Selenium Webdriver, to handle drop downs, they have given select class. I'll show you in some time. So before that, you have to identify what element it is. So just right click on this drop down. So I will just right click on this, click on inspect. As you can see in the code, in the HTML DOM structure, so select tag is given. This is the select tag, and here it is getting highlighted. Name is search system user type. ID is given, search system user underscore user type. And if you see the select tag, option is given. Option value 0, at value 0 it is on, then admin, then ESS. So these in the HTML document object model, in the HTML DOM code, DOM structure, we could see the drop down values all admin ESS, and these are the values which is coming from here, all admin ESS, which means this select tag is given and whose ID is this. So which means we have this ID. So I will copy this ID, just double click on it, it will get highlighted, and just copy it. So user role we are going to select. So let's write another method, public void select user role. And this is the way we write our automation code. You just create a small methods with meaningful name. So like in the previous method, I have given a very meaningful name, go to admin tab, and in this method I have given a very meaningful name, select user role. Why select user role? Because this is the user role drop down and we are selecting the user role, right? So in order to, here I will write the handling drop downs. So how we can handle drop down? I mentioned we have to use select class. So select, we have to create the object of select or select user select, any name we can provide. So let's say select drop down is equal to new select. So using new operator, I am creating the object of select class, right? And as a parameter we have to pass the locator. So driver dot find element by dot ID, and the ID we had copied. So this is the ID of the drop down, right? So this is the way we create the select class object. And here we are getting some compilation errors. Let's see how we can resolve these compilation errors. So if you mouse over select, it will ask you import select, and you notice import select is coming from org.openqa.selenium.support.ui. So we have to import this. Error gone. So we have created the select class object. Let me repeat how we have created. We are using new operator, select any name. I have given just drop down here, new select, and as a parameter to this select we have to pass the locator of the drop down, which I have done, driver.find element by .id, search system user type. And let me show you, this is the ID I have given in the code, the ID which is coming at in the select tag and which is corresponding to this drop down. It is getting highlighted. I hope it is clear to you. and in the next second line you will see the magic. So just copy this drop down, and if you click if you type dot, you will see bunch of options which you can perform in the drop down. You can select deselect all, deselect by index, so this is for deselecting. And same way you will see select by index, select by value, select by visible text, right? So these methods it is provided to handle drop downs, which means let me rephrase, you can use these methods to handle drop downs. So I will use select by visible text. What does it mean, select by visible text? Which means what is visible on the UI, I can select by that. So our objective was to select ESS. So this is the text ESS. So I will say okay, select by visible text, and I will provide that text ESS, right? So this is one way of selecting ESS. Same way, if you want to select, let's say we have selected ESS, now you want to select admin, right? So by text you can select admin, or by value you can select admin, because value is also admin, sorry, value is given 1, right? And if you see here, value is 0, 1, 2, and also you can select by index, and index will start from 0, 0, 1, 2. So which means this select class provides three ways to select values. And this is another interview question, they will ask you in how many ways you can select the values from the drop down. So you can say, sir, by 3 types we can select by index, select by value, or select by visible text. Okay, so by using these 3 types we can select. Okay, now we have selected, so for the time being I'm using select by visible text. You can try other options as well once you practice. After selecting ESS, I have to click on this search button. Let's try to find the locator of this search button. Just right click on this search, click on inspect. Here you go. We have got this input tag is there for search, type is button, class is ID is given, value is given. So let's try to use ID search button. So what I'll do, this is for selecting, this method was set for selecting value from the drop down. I will write another method, public void click on search button, and inside this method I will write the logic for clicking on search button. So this search button is there. So simple, I will write driver dot find element by dot ID. ID I have already taken from the developer tool, by dot ID search button, and in the button I can click on click. Okay, so we have written these methods. Let's see how we can call these in our test. So in the main method we are writing our test steps. So initially it will do login, and after that it will do logout. But before doing logout, let me comment this, I don't want to log out. So in this test what we will do, we will just log in, and after login, let's see, I would like to go to admin tab. So this is the scenario which we have automated. So I will call go to admin tab. Next we will do, I will call go to admin tab, then I will go, select value from the drop down, select user role, right? And after that I will call click on search button, right? So this is the test flow, test scenario, that you have to first log in, then you have to go to admin tab, you have to select user, and then you have to click on search button. If you go to this select user, So this is by select by visual text, so it is selecting ESS. Okay, so this is the flow. Let's see if we execute, it should do the same test steps. So let's see the execution now. So let me run this program. So the way we are calling these methods, like login, go to admin tab, select user role, click on search button, this way execution will happen. So this is a very basic example how we write our test cases or automated scripts. We just call different methods in our scenario, in our test cases, and these method calls, they actually perform the logic of interaction with the browser, right? So it should launch the Chrome browser and it will do these many tasks which we have mentioned inside the main method. The sequence is very important. Another point to note, if I call login at the end, if we call select user role first, then my test will fail. Sequence is very important. You have to first log in, then you have to go to admin tab, then you can select user role, because if you are not following the sequence, the application will not be in a state to get interact, right? Because when I say go to admin tab, I'm assuming login will be there. When I'm selecting user role, I'm assuming that admin tab will be there, correct? So same way, the sequence is very important in test automation. These sequence method calls, so you should know what is the starting point of your method, what you have assumed, right? My test is running, or I think it got failed. Timeout, waiting for driver server to start. Let me rerun, no problem. It should run this time. You can see the message as a starting Chrome driver. So as you can see, the test has started. It has launched the Chrome browser. And now Selenium should perform the steps which we have written in our test. Here you go, it's trying to open the application now. Here you go, we have got the login window and should click on login button. Entering username, password, it will click on login. Login is done. It should now go to admin tab. It went to admin tab. It should select ESS from the user role. You can see it has selected ESS. It clicked on search button, and in the user role we see all the ESS members only. As you can see, ESS only, and it has selected from the drop down ESS. I have not called the browser.close, so that's why the browser is still open, but our script worked successfully. Alright, so this is the simple way how we can handle drop downs. So we have to use this select class. We have to create the object of select class, and as a parameter we have to pass the element locator of the drop down, and then there are three ways using which we can select the drop down value: select by visible text, select by index, or select by value. So these are the three types. Alright, so that's what I wanted to discuss in this session today. Thank you so much.